Well, social media is clearly crucial, simply because the way in which consumers now get information, discuss information, has been transformed beyond all recognition over the last 10 years. 10 or 15 years ago, information came downwards from on high, whether it came from governments or it came from companies or it came from other organisations down to the consumer, and it was normally interpreted and filtered in this journey by people who are in the middle, experts who are like journalists or analysts, who basically communicated between consumers and companies. Now, of course, that's all changed because of the power of the web. Consumers are fully empowered. Social media sites and platforms give them the ability to get almost any information they want about a company. Companies like are living in glass houses every day of the year, 24/7. Consumers know what's going on, they have recourse to expert opinion and so on. And above all, they listen to the opinions of their families and friends, also online. So social media is not just critical for as a new practice in PR, it's fundamental to the whole of marketing and how marketing has changed. And it's because of that change that the ability of PR companies to engage directly with consumers through social media in a way they didn't 10 years ago is now greater than it's ever been, hence the importance of it.
As far as the social media is concerned, I think it's here to stay. It can evolve and emerge and change from one form to the other, but it's another media that is going to be important for all communicators to share their messaging. So I think every communicator needs to understand the social media, and needs to understand devices, and needs to understand the various new trends that's happening in the social media, so that one can engage with their consumers better, bring out their brand conversation forward in a much better manner. And the world has moved from publishing to engagement, so it's no longer that you are just going to take out a release and hoping that your readers are going to be reading that and responding. So I think those engagement platforms needs to be created, and different kinds of messagings can be brought out. So I think that is where I would say the next level of growth will come from.
Social media important. How social media is important in the industry?
I think a lot has been said about social media. In fact, I recently had a chance to see the interview of marketing guru Philip Kotler. And the one thing that he almost admitted after decades of being the marketing guru of the world was that brand builders and marketers will perish if they don't know how to deal with the social media. It's really changing the face of marketing and the face of brand building. And obviously that trickles down to PR because PR or brand PR is an important pillar of the entire marketing mix. And I don't think, in fact I almost think that PR and social media are interchangeable, because what's happening essentially on social media is PR. It's editorial, it's free editorial. Individuals are being given platforms at no cost to express their points of view. So you're dealing with millions of journalists versus those 50 journalists that you used to deal with probably 5 years back. So it's very important to make sure that they're aware of your product, they have the right experience with your product, and you create shareable messages which they'd love to talk about on these platforms. At the same time, it's very important to know what they're talking negatively about your brands, and how do you manage that well without offending them, without curbing their freedom. That is a different challenge altogether, and yes, we are working towards community management in that area.
I think essentially understanding new media. There is a big change happening in the country where technology is now becoming quite prevalent in communicating information. If you look at the country, more than 50% of the population is less than 25 years, which is very tech savvy, well connected, and to reach out to them, one needs to exploit social media very effectively. And I think that is something that the PR industry needs to understand, as well as guide their clients in supporting this new media.
Digital is it's becoming very important because of several things. One is digital can be immediate, it's low cost, it's measurable, because you can immediately, very quickly realize how many people are responding, what's the response to a particular initiative that you're doing. You run a contest, what's the kind of feedback, responses you get. So also you get to understand what consumers are thinking about your brand. So you will get insights from feedback also that you get.
Social media can be a double-edged sword. People are getting into social media big time because it carries messages within seconds, and I can tell you there are millions of consumers who can damage your brand, your reputation, the chairman's reputation in minutes. So you've got to be extremely careful. You cannot get into social media until you're very convinced that I have a strong brand character.